Cool. I started this recording pretty late, but for the people who are on the call, if they want to rewatch it, it will make sense. So let's just say this is market structure: lower low, low high, not a very much breaker structure, breaker structure. So from here on, I could be looking for buyers. So now I'm going to look for my other confirmations. Does that all make sense as well? Lower low, lower high, a weak breaker structure to the downside, and then a breaker structure to the upside. And then from here, you want to look for your confirmations. So here, it didn't really react from anything, but here, I'll just show you guys. So institutional candle. You got your institutional candle there. It's not actually come to it, but that's cool. It doesn't always work out perfect. Imbalance, we've not got imbalance. Just a sec, guys. I'll show you an actual, a good example. So here, for example. So this is a better example because we've got more confirmations. So institutional candle, break structure, liquidity. So we've got liquidity build up here. Any questions as well, guys? I can't see the chat, so I'll just go off it. Cool. So yeah, liquidity, imbalance, there's an imbalance there. Break structure, premium fib, psychological level. So now I can round this. So I want it to be like around the fibs and around that engulfing candle. And you can see there's imbalance as well. So that would probably be my entry. And this is just...
Yeah, bro, we can hear you. We can hear you, but it's time. Like your screen's like not catching up.
All right. Tell you what.
It's like a bit laggy. Quite laggy, to be honest.
I'll restart TradingView. But is that all making sense, guys? Like, that's not me teaching you the confirmations. It's kind of like showing you how you can backtest. That makes sense. And that's basically what I've done. That's helped train my eye to get better. I hope that made sense to you guys. But when you're new to it as well, it's good to just spend. Michael, can you just put thumbs up if I'm clear? Am I good? Nice one. Appreciate it. So I hope I've not lost anyone with what I was just saying there, but that's like how you can backtest. But if you're new to it, pick a confirmation or however you trade. Let's say imbalance, just go back and mark out as many imbalances as you can. And that'll help train your eye. It's all about training your eye. For me, I don't know if any of you guys have a sporting background, but for me, training your eye is like doing drills in sport because I've got a sporting background. Or even if you work, if you're a singer, practicing your notes or I don't know how it works, but it's like drills. You got to drill in like liquidity. You got to drill in your imbalance. So now, if I was just to zoom into this price action, like, can you guys just like mark off where is the break structure, where is liquidity, where is imbalance, where is the institutional candle? And if you can't, then it's cool. You just got to spend a little bit of time doing it. So, for example, there's an imbalance there. The break structure, it's not very clear, but it's like higher high, higher low, higher high. But yeah, this is just like to give you an overview of like how to backtest, what you guys can be looking for. And if any of these words don't make sense, do put in the comments or unmute yourselves, or I can show you some videos to watch and go live. So that's how to backtest. Now I'm going to show you some live pairs, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to this because there's quite a lot of setups that I'm seeing this week, and it'll be beneficial for you guys because I appreciate it can be hard on a live call, but after it with the recording, it will train your eye a lot. If you can't already see setups that well on yourself, marking up all of the things I'm doing on your charts. It's just like kicking a football the exact same Ronaldo. I'm not saying I'm Ronaldo, but it's like kicking the football the same way Ronaldo's kicking the football, or if that makes sense. Like if you can draw the same way a professional painter draws, or someone who's better than you, then do it. And like if any of you guys are better than me, I do the exact same. Like, if any of you guys are better at network marketing than me, I'd do exactly what you do. It's just about being like coachable and teachable and implementing. So I'm going to go through some pairs. So I've already done an upload of Euro AUD on my YouTube, but I'll go over it really quickly. So today, I was willing to, you always keep that trading checklist you chart when, yeah, I always put my, I always put that checklist on because what I do is, made sense, mate. So what the reason I do it is because I put on the top how many confirmations it's got, because that way it takes away me having to think. The more I have to think, the worse I trade. The less I have to think, the better I trade. So if I know I've got seven out of 8 confirmations, I don't need to think about taking the trade. I just take the trade. Now, I know some people in here might have trouble with being greedy or impatient or things like that. So if that's your problem, you might need to have it on your screen that, right, I'm not going to risk more than 3% of my capital a week. I'm not going to risk more than 2% a day. I'm going to hit my percentage targets. I'm going to come off the charts. And that, like, you've got to realize what are your downfalls in trading, and like try and build a plan around that. And if you need some help with that, I'm always happy to help. So with this setup, oh yeah, I went off track there. So today I'm willing to risk 1.5%. And for me, this was the nicest setup because it's 7 out of 8 confirmations. So for me, I'm going to risk 0.75% on this trade. So in this trade, for me, the higher time frame is bearish. That's why it's a highly probable trade, because I'm going with the higher time frame. That's why I'm willing to risk the most amount of capital on this trade. So here, in my opinion, we're in a downtrend. We've broken some previous structure, got an engulfing candle, and we've mitigated a key psychological level. That's a very big psychological level. Now, price could definitely go up from there, but I like, if I'm trading in a downtrend now, in my opinion, that's aligned with the higher time frame now. And the reason I'm only targeting here and I'm not targeting lower is because if you go on, this might go over some of your guys' heads, but if you go up from the time frame of the monthly, we're in an uptrend. So I don't want to be targeting all the way down here if this could be a higher low. So what I've done is, so this is like the monthly bearish. That's like the higher time frame from that higher low. Could be anticipating a new higher low to wipe out this liquidity. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to target this imbalance in here. And then if you look on where we've reacted from the monthly, I hope I'm keeping you guys. We've got an engulfing candle that's been respected. And then within that, we've got so that's the weekly. And then within that, we've got a daily engulfing that I believe should be respected. It's swept liquidity, which is a good sign. We've got an engulfing candle, premium fibs, psychological level, liquidity to target, but that's been swept. I'll get rid of that. And then we've got, I must mark this out, must be a 1 hour. So yeah, that could be a target. But what I do like to do as well is, as a TP, is say if I'm selling from here, one place I do like to target is from the 50%. I'll just let it come up. So that's 50% from this low to this high. And I do find that that's quite a high probable area for price to come to. And everything I say as well, guys, don't take it for granted. Go and whatever I say, go on the chart yourself and you'll believe it more if you do it yourself on your chart. So that's Euro AUD. Hopefully that all makes sense to you guys. And also, I don't know, I know Mike here follows fundamentals, but the GDP of AUD is a lot higher than Euro. So that's just an extra confirmation that it should be going in a downtrend. And GDP is just like a signal for how strong a currency is. Now, AU, I wasn't actually going to take this trade today, but because I've already made a bit of profit and I know that even if I lose this trade, I've not lost 1.5% of my account, I'm happy to get into the market, if that makes sense. Now, why I like this trade is because the dollar for me is bullish, the DXY. So that means that this should be bearish. We can do it. I know Mike can do a call on that next week, maybe, on how that works. But if you just look at this, right? So if you think where is the liquidity? Now, I don't know if you saw my chart before, but you might be thinking there's no double highs, equal lows. But for me, what I can see is if you're a break and retest trader here, this previous ceiling, you're going to be looking to sell there. That's been taken out. So you can see that with that blue line. Break and retest traders taken out. And then you'll have break and retest traders here, or support and resistance traders. And for me, that's going to be a target. On the higher time frame, we've had a breaker structure. And then we've got an engulfing candle that swept liquidity, but price has reacted from the imbalance. To be honest, price could potentially come back up to that daily institutional candle. There's nothing stopping it. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if it did, to be honest. But this fits my confirmations. So here we've had a 1 hour breaker structure, another breaker structure. From this high to this low, we're inside a 7 hour institutional candle. That can be refined down to a 60-minute. So that's like how you look for lower time frames. It doesn't have to be a 1 minute, 15-minute. It could be refining it from the daily to the 1 hour. For me, it really doesn't matter what time frame you're on. It's just about what you can see. If that makes sense, guys. I'm just gonna check it. Cool. So here, yeah, like this is basically it. So premium fib, psychological level, imbalance, break structure, liquidity. Yeah, like I'm not really liking how it's come up to it super aggressive. So in terms of lower time frame, because I know somebody asked about that before, it's all about knowing your ranges and your structural points. So for me, it's gone higher high, higher low, higher high. So until this higher low breaks, I wouldn't look for a lower time frame entry. So this is bullish right now. And so until this high low breaks, I wouldn't be looking for a lower time frame sell. But even if this is one thing you'll learn if you trade lower time frames, even if you see a breaker structure, unless you see an obvious liquidity grab, you will be the liquidity when you get into the sell. And I don't know if any of you guys can experience that. So if this is what you see and you think the price is just going to come up and drop, you're probably going to get stopped like that. And then your entry here for the sell, you will probably be the liquidity. So what you do want to see is something like this. So higher high, higher low, higher high. So let's say you see some double highs, they get swept and then it goes. That makes sense. Just something like that. And backtest this, guys, for yourself, and you'll trust yourself more rather than just trusting what I'm saying. So I'll show you guys NU. I called this out today to the team. It was a 1 to 7, and to be honest, someone told me about asked me about spread today as well. It was Michael. So even though this didn't hit my entry, I don't think it did. On TradingView, so the low of that candle was 637, 161. Oh no, so that was 1 pip above my entry in TradingView, but I still got into this trade. Why? Because my entry was actually 615. The reason I did that, so this is very key, no matter what strategy you trade, this is super important. Let's say you're in for a buy, like this. If you go on your MetaTrader, I'm going to show you. If you go on your MetaTrader, I'd recommend you all go on it now if you can. So if you go on MetaTrader, the bottom left where it says quotes, if you go on advanced, I don't know if you can see. On that side, on my left, so as you're looking at the phone on your left, there'll be a number underneath the pair that's always fluctuating up and down. Don't know if you guys can see. So if you go on MetaTrader quotes, for me at the top it's AUD USD. So underneath it says spread is 6, and it's fluctuating from about 5 to 7. So if all you guys can look at your MT4 now, just go on AUD USD and look at the spread. For me, it's 6. So because spread is always fluctuating, if I see it as 6, I'm probably going to put it as 10 because there's nothing stopping spread from fluctuating crazy just as you're about to enter the trade. So let's say this is your entry. If price comes down and hits your entry and spreads 10, you're automatically put down 10 pipettes, which is a pip. So let's say it puts you down there. This is like super key, guys. So you really want to get your head around this. If it don't make sense, rewatch the video or I'll send you the video I watched to help make sense in my head. So let's say you enter. Let's say it puts you here on MT4. Let's say price gets to here. You've not been stopped out. Your analysis is right, and then it keeps going and hits TP. However, on MT4, because of spread, you're actually there because you have spread. So you've been stopped, but it hits your TP with your analysis. So So because of this, I don't know what spread was. So if I factored in 15, it was probably about 10. So I put in on my MT4 that for this to be my entry, even though I expected it to come to here, because I didn't want price to come down here and then reverse and I'd be stopped out of the trade. And it worked in my favor this time. So that makes sense. So for a buy, you change your entry to be higher by spread. But this is the complicated part because it changes for a sell. So for a sell, it's pretty similar concept, but you want to adjust. So say if spread, instead of moving your entry lower, you want to move your stop loss higher and your TP slightly higher by whatever spread is. I'll show you an example of that in a minute. So I'll show you this chart set up today, but on a different, what's it called? Just so it's a clean chart. So if anyone as well wants to unmute themselves, I'm happy because this is a really good way to learn, especially if there's not a lot of people on the call, is for one of you guys to unmute yourselves and try and tell me where the confirmations are. But you can even take control of my screen. So I'll just get it ready. So what time did I enter? Cool. I'll just get it ready so you guys can see what I'm thinking of doing. So I'll get the confirmations up. All right, so breaker structure. I don't know if it's going to be hard for you to tell me. You can always take control of my screen. I know Mike's unmuted himself. So here, so like, where would you say the breaker structure is? It's a bit hard to tell, really. Like, I'll say it. So 1, 2. So I think you want to mute yourself to say it, but like 1, 2, or 3, basically. It's like 1, 2, or 3. Where's the breaker structure, guys? I'm not even looking at the chart. 1. So in this as well, there's no really right or wrong answers. So for me personally,
I'd go with. Would you say it's the last down candle before the bullish move up?
So this is just breaker structure for me. So for me, a breaker structure is. So let's say this is the trading range. We're expecting price to maintain this higher low. As long as price stays above that higher low, this will be the breaker structure because this is where a new higher high was formed. So until this high gets broken, this is the breaker structure. So if that goes like that, this is the breaker structure. And then if it goes up, that's the breaker structure. This is super simple, but it's also complicated if you don't understand it. So for me, the breaker structure, it's not very clear.
It's at the blue line, isn't it? roughly there.
But for me, this is a definite.
Oh.
This is a definite like trading range, because you can see how impulsive it brought this last high. But for me, the break structure is when it went higher high, higher low, higher high. So this higher high brought this higher high. So it has to break the body and the wick for me. So that's the body break. To be fair there. But the proper break structure for me would be there. This is quite a complex trade. Like, it's not an easy trade. But once you learn the confirmations and piece them all together, it's just like piecing together a jigsaw. So that's the break structure. So generally what I do is, it doesn't matter if your confirmations are different to mine, I just put yes there. So then at the end you can add them up and be like, right, I've got 1 out of 7 confirmations. So institutional candle, I feel like this is pretty obvious, but like it's cool if you don't know it. I'll just draw some so you can have a guess. You got 1. So for me, they're the institutional candles, but which one would you do? So like 1, 2, or 3? Cool if you
mired 1.
You do 1, yeah.
Yeah, 1's already been tapped.
What, with that long wick?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So that is an institutional candle. It's not as high probability because it's not engulfing. They're all institutional candles, to be honest. But because of the breaker structure that I'm looking at, I mean, I can show you. We can see if we can find a trade there as well after, if you want. Would be good to learn from that, really. But for me, this is the engulfing candle because this is the last down move before the breaker structure. So let's say, because I'm a visual learner, so for me to teach, it's best doing it visually. Let's say that if that structure, you want to have your engulfing candle there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now we've got the institutional candle. This will also teach you lower time frames a bit as well. So now premium fib levels, if we know where the break structure is from this, because this higher high brought this higher high, this is now the higher low that put in the higher high. That's where we can draw our fibs from. So it's not quite come to premium fib levels, but it's come to the 50%. So we've not got premium fib level. Liquidity trap. So the reason I like this trade as well, it's not the clearest on the 1 hour, but when I go to the 15-minute, you'll see that that's a liquidity grab. I'll just go to the 15-minute. It's a bit more obvious. And you can also see here there's a liquidity grab as well. Cool. So liquidity, yes. So now I want to find imbalance. I want to find premium fib levels, which I'll show you how to do in a sec. And I want to find a psychological level. So from here, what have we got? We've got an engulfing candle with imbalance. If I draw my fib from there, we've got that. So that's basically my setup. But I personally wouldn't just take this if it wasn't for the facts of what do you guys see here as a target? Do you guys see anything? You don't have to put stuff in the chat, but be thinking can you see anything that's a target? Because what I can see is not the cleanest. To be fair, on the other pair, I'm pretty sure it was a lot cleaner than that. So yeah, this was the trade this was the pair I was trading. Still NZD USD, but it's a different broker. So they were perfect equal highs. So that was my target. That's why I was looking to get into that trade, because there was a really clean liquidity grab. But here, that it's like not as clean. So from there, price came to about here, and I set my limit for about, I rounded it to, I don't know what my psychological level was. It was 1.6. That's the one. And then my target was them equal highs I was telling you guys about, and that was a 1-7. And as you can see, it didn't quite come, but it did mitigate this down candle before the up move. But I think about it, it don't matter if you're in the trade or not. Like, actually try and learn something here. Like, think about confirmations. Imbalance, engulfing candle, and it came and mitigated that last down order. And another lesson here that you could take from it is, also there was a breaker structure as well here. It's not the cleanest. But if I just remove all this, so just to go over it again, breaker structure, so we've gone high, low, high. This isn't the cleanest. So that's structure. Engulfing candle, the last down in premium. This is the premium from this low to this high. That's the only institutional candle in premium price range. And also, if you ever in future, if you've got a trade set up where you've got 2 engulfing candles in the range, it's more probable to go for the lower one. Like, yeah, you could take one from the top, but I've been stopped out so many times I've taken a buy there and just been stopped and it's the lower one. But yeah, I hope that setup makes sense, guys. It's a little bit tricky, but we've got an obvious target. We're going in an uptrend here, and then I find an engulfing candle in premium fib level, and we're sweeping liquidity as well as we're going up. It's like liquidity sweep. Does that make sense, guys? I'll just check the comments. Cool. So
spot on.
AUD GFUY. So I like this setup a lot. Oh, this is beautiful. This is like beautiful. So I was looking at this so long ago. Right. It's a shame you can't need to zoom in, but I'll tell you what, I'll go on the daily first. I can get all the candles in the screen. All right, so what do you guys see here? So let's say I'm looking for a buy in this area. Why would I be looking for a buy in that area? Just think in your head now. If you want to say anything, then feel free. But I think, why would I be looking for a buy in this area? So I'll give you like 10 seconds.
Broke structure.
Nice. Yeah.
Broke structure, come down, mitigated out of that one. Gosh, yeah, interesting. Yeah.
So that's break.
Bro, is your screen? Sorry, mate. Is your screen looking at NZD USD on a 15-minute at the minute? Because I think I'm looking at the video, but lagged.
It is lagged. Yeah.
That's why. That's why when you're showing stuff up, I'm like, oh, that's not what I can see on the screen. I was getting really confused. I was thinking,
I was at some points.
My bad. So where I go to the gym, the Wi-Fi is mad, and they've got like a cafe.
I'm seeing AUDJPY on the daily now.
Yeah, that's it. So it's kind of already. So sorry about that, guys. So yeah, he's already said it, but like, just think like, what can you see? So this is where I want to be looking to buy from. I'm just like, kind of think, why would you want to buy from there?
So like, am I right in thinking you would see that as like, that's like a liquidity grab? It's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's gone up, took all them out, come back down, mitigated, and then she sails upwards.
Yeah. So where I like, so you've already said this is a broken structure.
Yeah.
So from this low, I like to see the low take liquidity. So it's taking low liquidity here. I like to see liquidity
Yeah.
taken before price gets to your entry. So there's because the reason for this is if I want to get in for a buy and target up here, for institutions to move the market like that, they have to take retail traders out. So yeah, this is cool if retailers get taken out here. But if retailers get taken out here, that's just to move price lower. For price to move higher, we've got to take retail buyers out of the market. Wherever they've been taken out,
Yeah.
there, and yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now in terms of an engulfing candle, an institutional candle, I can't personally see one. There is one here, but it's mitigated. Same here. So because of premium fib levels, if I draw my fib from here to here, I know that's roughly where I want to be entering from. It's already drawn. So what I can do now is, if I know I want to be entering from this area, I can go down the time frames. So typically, if you knew, I'd go from daily, 4 hour, 1 hour. But because I like looking through all the different time frames, I saw on the 8 hour time frame this. So this is the area of the fib. So what do we see here? It's an engulfing here that's been mitigated. And then you've got this area of price here. So for me, that fib would probably want to be my entry. I mean, I think I had it marked out like that, but just stick with the fibs for now. Keep it simple. And then if you can, round it to a psychological level. So for me, psychological levels, just like a whole number. So that could be like 600, 700, 800. Or if you're on the lower time frames, it could be like a 20 level. Or it could be like 0, 25, 50, 75, 0. But for me, that's a good entry. So just going through the confirmations. All right. We've got a breaker structure, premium fib level. We've got an engulfing candle. So price did actually come to the engulfing candle, as you can see. So we're learning together here. So as you can see, 91.0 is a lot cleaner number than I think it was 150. Just like that's like common sense that. If you're an institution putting in a £1 million order, you're not going to say, right, let's put it in at 91.15. You're going to say, let's just put it in at 91. That's the logic behind it. So we've got breaker structure, institutional candle, liquidity grab. So liquidity has been taken here. I'll just draw it out. So you do have equal. There's a touch there. That's just like layering in more retailers to take a buy here. Wiped out. Then you're just layering retailers in there, thinking, oh, we'll buy again here. It's wiped out. And then what I was saying about before on the lower time frame, you want to see a liquidity grab. This is your liquidity grab. So if I just zoom into this area of price, I mentioned you want to see a breaker structure, then a liquidity grab. So for me as well, I flip between the time frames based on how the candles fit on my screen. So I wanted to look at this area of price. On the 30-minute, they fit on my screen. In the 15-minute, there was too many candles to fit on my screen. That's why I flip through the time frames like this. So in this scenario, so this was the low. What was the lower high that put in that low? It was here. So like if you're struggling with structure, just work your way back. So lower low, lower high, lower low. This was the breaker structure. I think I'd probably look for a buy here, to be honest with you. So yeah, that'd be just roughly speaking, that's your lower time frame setup. But on the higher time frame, we know we're bullish. So you could potentially look to target the high. Like way up there. So that's the power of using both time frames. Don't matter whether this is the 1 hour is a high time frame and the 5 minutes a lower time frame, or in this scenario, when the 8 hours is the big time frame and the 30 minutes a lower time frame, you want to see a breaker structure and then a liquidity grab. This is obvious. This is an obvious liquidity grab. Apart from this here, the only other high volume candles are like impulsive moves. It's like here. And that's basically it, really. And other than that, if I was just to mark out this down move that swept liquidity, so it swept this liquidity, and there's also trend traders being swept. That's very key manipulation. I probably wouldn't do this, but if you wanted, you could just put your entry in the open of that. That's the exact same concept as when I was doing this, and it's the down move that swept liquidity here. It's the open of that down move where they're going to get price back down to and mitigate that down order before moving price back up. It doesn't have to be an engulfing candle. It can just be a sign of manipulation. So I don't know if any of you guys
if you haven't got
sorry,
Harrison. If you haven't got a like a clean psychological level and you've got a IC candle that you're looking at as a possible entry, do you prefer to go from the wick, or do you prefer the 50% level of the IC candle as your entry, or do you go from the bottom? Where do you prefer to enter from?
So I'll tell you what I'd do, and then I'd recommend you just spend an hour back testing it. So in my opinion, you can always find a psychological level. So I'm just going to mark out some engulfing candles, and I'm going to show you how you can find psychological levels. So let's say this is an engulfing candle. I'm going to mark out 10 engulfing candles and then show you how you can use a psychological level. So here you've got an engulfing candle. So there's no other context to this than an engulfing candle. So that's two. Depending on how long it takes me, I might not do 10. So here you've got, it's not the cleanest, but like an engulfing candle that gets mitigated. There. Same again here. So because that's two 30-minute candles on the 1 hour, that would be an engulfing candle. So you got a sell one there. Because like that's one where you might, is it the wick, is it the open? Is that kind of what you were saying?
Yeah. Where would you prefer to place your entry?
So what I normally do is I'd put something on the screen, either a ray or your short position, because I'd put it there and then I'd double tap it and I'd say, oh, right, let's round it. I'd round it to that. So if that was the case, I wouldn't have got into the trade there because I'd have just had that as my entry. So let's take this one, for example. But like, where did it react from? It reacted from an 8-2 level. For me, that, like, I probably wouldn't take that. Let's say here on the open. Like, it doesn't have to be like 9-1-0-0-0. It could be 8-7-5, because 75 is still kind of a psychological level. So if this was
yeah, for sure.
So I wouldn't do, that's a clean number, but I wouldn't do it because of how far away it is. So that's pretty close, but it's too far away from the open for me. So I'd probably do that in this scenario. Let's look at this one. So I'll just show you what I mean by this as well. Here, that's two 30-minute candles, but when I go to the 1 hour, I'm pretty confident that will be an engulfing candle. So there, it's not really. So let me know if the screen lags as well. So there, engulfing candle. So I put it on the open. So what would you round that to?
Oop.
Can you see my screen all right? Can you guys?
Yeah, you on a AUD JPY on a 30, yeah? And you've just marked up.
On the 45. It's all good.
No, I haven't got the same screen.
All good. So in future, I think I'll do my calls where I work at an office. So can you see 45-minute AUD JPY?
Yeah, now I can.
Cool. So I'm going to put this, let's say there, on there. Where would you round that to, that psychological level?
Where you put that 91285 line, that horizontal ray. Where would I put it there?
Where would you round it to? Would you round that up?
Yeah, I'd round it up.
What would
I
you
round it
to?
up to 92.
Nice. So that wouldn't actually do it up. That'd make it go down. But I think I know what you mean. If you'd round it up, what's up from 85?
91200. If you round that up, sorry, the other way around, yeah.
300. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I do know what you mean. I just wanted you to say it so you'd learn more. So that so like for me, the way you can practice this is I've just marked out some random engulfing candles. I've put it on the open, and just see like what's the cleanest number. So for me, the cleanest number is 91. It's nowhere near it. So now I'm going to get this number to be 1, and like if that makes any sense. So if I just want this to be a number and the next one 2 zeros, let's say 4, you can tell how it's way not where you want it to be. Let's try 2.
Yeah.
It's not right. Let's try 3. Yeah, that looks nice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that is clean.
This is how you get your, like I get a lot of entries. It's not a flex, but it's just because of this. Like today, for example, like less than 5 pips drawdown.
Yeah.
So that one, if I put it here, where would you round it to? Like, forget about whether this is lower or higher. Like, what number of this would be cleaner? How can you make that number cleaner? So, like, it's like, would you rather have your TV on 21 or 20? Would you rather have it on 27 or 30? 43 or 40? That's the kind of what you want to get at.
$9,150. I'd round it up because you're at 60, so you should round up.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I'd like as well. The only thing is, I typically look for mine to be touching the engulfing, so I'd probably. To be fair, I would have done 500, as well. To be honest, but just so we can both learn, maybe round it in future to one where it's touching the engulfing. Just something to learn.
Yeah. That's just yeah. I like the sound of that. That makes sense.
But I would have done what you did initially. So this one here, let's have a look. So for me, this is pretty obvious straight away what I'd do. I don't know about you guys, but I don't say that to brag. It's just because I've done this a lot of times. So let's say, Michael, what would you round that to? I don't know if you understand what I mean by that. But...
The psychological number, yeah.
So what?
See, I'd just take the 0. I'd take the 2 away there. Just go 91700.
100%. That's it. It's really simple once you kind of get your head around it. So let's say the start of this manipulated move. Like same again, just take the end of it. If you wanted to make it even more.
You got a quarter level there, haven't you? You got 250.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And as well here.
Would you use them a lot as the 50s, or would you just keep it as a rounded number, as in 91, 200, 91, 300, or do you know?
Yeah.
Can you half it like that? I suppose. Or
good question.
It's a solid number, isn't it? I suppose 9150. You could,
Yeah.
if you're saying it.
Good question. Can you guys see the daily time frame?
Yeah, it's just loading up. Just there. Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah, man.
So you can see this one here. That one can be that because it's the daily. But when you get onto the lower time frames, you can't always have like the big psychological levels. So sometimes it might be like this. It might be like 6.3. So, and the cleanest number might literally be 6.5 if you're on the 1 minute. Whereas if you're on the 15 minute, it might be like 5.50. Then when you get to the hour, it might be like that. And then when you get to the daily, it can be like that. The more you play about with it, the more it'll make sense.
Yeah.
And if you guys feel like you've got a lot of information now, and you've not got a lot of time tonight to put into it, you're probably best jumping off this and implementing whatever you've learned. But if you want and you feel like your brain can still take information, I'll keep going.
Mate, you do what you got to do. I'm doing this all night.
Because I'm happy to keep going, but I'm also conscious of if I'm you guys, I'm probably not concentrating for longer than 20 minutes, and I'm gonna start switching off and fidgeting. But if you guys can concentrate, I'll keep going.
Yeah,
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm quite happy learning. Yeah.
So for me, market structure can be the 4 hour, the daily, or anything higher. Well, let's take what time frame this is out of it, and let's just focus on the candles. So if this is my higher time frame, from this low to this high, my breaker structure isn't this. This is my market structure. The market structure can also be called higher time frame, in my opinion. The breaker structure that I want to see is this lower high gets broken. That's the breaker structure. Can you see that green line there?
No.
This one here.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
So that'll be more clear on the 4 hour. So the 4 hour structure is like this. So that's the 4 hour structure. So in order for the break structure to happen, this lower high gets broken, wants to be broken. So that's the 4 hour structure break. So now we've had the breaker structure which aligns with the higher time frame. Because if you don't have this breaker structure and you just buy here, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's nothing stopping price just going like this. So it makes a lot of sense, in my opinion, to wait for a breaker structure and then you can look to buy. So now, and the best place to buy from this high to this low is below 50%. It's like discounted buying. It's like green line's 50%. So now, does that make sense?
I'll get the discounted bit, yeah.
So effectively, all I've done is, this is the higher time frame. But then when I've zoomed into this one on the lower time frame, we're going like this. And then as soon as that breaks, that's when I'm looking to buy.
That makes sense.
Because this is how I see the market. I don't see it as candles. This is literally how I see the market. Like, I'm so visual that when I rewrote my trading plan the other day, I'll show you guys. This is how you, like, yeah, I write down all my confirmations, but I literally write it. You'll see in a sec. It's good for you guys to do what I'm about to show you. Basically, I literally just drew out myself on paper. It's quite powerful because for me, I'm a kinesthetic learner, so I have to learn by doing things, and I have to learn by drawing or writing it out. If I can find it. I know I'm taking the piss now, but it'll be worth it if you can see it. Maybe I can't, but basically, I just drew out my setup like this on paper, and it's powerful. If you don't understand it, draw it out. That's like what I can recommend. So now, yeah. I don't know if you do smart money. Oh, I don't know if you do smart money, Chloe, but if you do, this is for you. So basically, in terms of the confirmations, because it's always like, right, what confirmations can I see in the market? So market structure, we're bullish. So I want to fit, because this is the market structure from this high, from this low to this high, yeah? That's the higher time frame. So I want to basically, without any other confirmations, just knowing that, I could literally take a buy like this. You could literally take a buy like that. It's bad risk to reward. You're going to be in a trade for about a year. But like, let's say if it took you that long, you could be in a trade for like nearly 100 days. I just want to figure out how can I make the risk to reward better so I make more money, and how can I add more confirmations into the. Oh, do you need to take over for a call?
Sorry, Harrison, I didn't mean that. I just pressed reclaim host. It just gave me it straight back. Sorry about that.
It's all good. Is this making sense to you two though?
Yeah, 100%.
You're right to give me a back down, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Do you need to do a call? It's all
Yeah,
good.
I'm gonna speak to.
I can always just say do it on my Zoom if you want, guys. If you want to stay on, I'll stay on. But if not, then I don't mind.
We just stay and learn.
Cool. I'll send you a Zoom link, guys.